Welcome back in, everybody, to week one of a brand new year of the Black Twitch League. This is the first series between Team Ishtar and the Westchester University Rams, which saw the Rams take game one, domination out of Callista, and a pentakill and a victory.
Yeah, just a really well played game overall from the WCU Rams here, coming in as sort of the new kids on the block. Team Ishtar, of course, veterans of the league, and showing up saying, we're here to play, we're here to stay. Kalichi on that Callista, just really, really well played overall. And it's really hard to see what they would change if not for the fact that the Shen as well as the Callista are banned away. So we're going to have to see a different look from these WCU Rams.
Yeah, Team Ishtar with the veteran savvy move, getting rid of those champions. They're also going to opt to ban the Zillion as, please don't run it, is a pretty damn good Zillion. On the other side, the Rams, they've banned the Fiora, the Zeri, and the Hecarim, and it looks like they're going into a first pick Gwen here.
Yeah, there are three things that are certain in life: death, taxes, and Gwen being immune. So that's going to be a really interesting flex pick that you have between Kingfisher and Dissipate here. Gwen Jungle has seen a decent amount of play in the higher echelons of League as sort of a super high damage sort of Master Yi style champion, except that the fact that you can go immune, of course, so gives you a little bit more utility there with that champion and just so much damage. But the answer being the Xin Zhao here may dissuade that. We might just see that Gwen go up to that top lane instead.
Yeah, and Vaperdo, it's not really in their wheelhouse, the Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao, obviously very strong and not an incredibly difficult champion to play. I would have liked to see them bust out their pocket pick Rengar, but it looks like that will be off the table for today's games. So the Xin Zhao Gwen matchup, tell me how that one kind of goes.
If that is Gwen Jungle, Xin Zhao actually has a really good time into the Gwen because you're able to go into her zone, you're able to do all of your damage in close quarters. Gwen likes it when people play into her, but Xin Zhao also likes when people play into him, so it sort of gives a case of whoever gets more fed has the better time, but Xin Zhao just has a little bit more agency in that early game.
Aphelios was the pickup for Team Ishtar. They'll be giving that one over to Frostbite. Haven't really seen too much Aphelios on their sheet doing the homework earlier on today. They had a lot of good options to go into, but you know what? Aphelios is an incredibly strong champion. When you get the chakrams, it is time to not fight.
Yeah, I think Aphelios is such a strong champion right now that, not having that setup, oh my goodness, not having that setup is, or having played it a bunch, doesn't really matter as much. Yes, it is a slightly complex champion, but the champion is still really strong right now. The oh my goodness goes towards the Zyra as
this
the
is
option
a throwback.
here. Yeah,
this is a throwback.
This is a real throwback
this
here.
This is like a season 4 lane. Caitlyn Zyra going to be picked up by the Rams. They've gone into the time capsule. They've pulled out the dark technology. And let me tell you something. I always hated playing against that lane, and I still hate playing against that lane. While Zyra may be way different than she used to be with her plants, she still provides endless amounts of poke and CC.
Yeah, the main thing about this Zyra here is I'm curious to see the build that comes out. Yes, there is your Leandri's Lament option of just, going full AP, but there's also the dark technology of going first item Anathema's Chains. You chain the Aphelios. Your root lasts like 2.5 seconds at that point, and it can root multiple people, right? So it's incredibly strong on top of the likes of a Caitlyn here who's going to be able to toss down those traps. So curious to see what the build is, but Zyra is going to be really annoying. But on the flip side, the Corki getting picked up here by Face to the Wind. This is sort of the other super strong mid laner right now, and I like to see them pick this up as their last option here in R3 because they have the chance to sort of ban away 2 of the comfort/counter picks into it. That includes that Victor. They don't want to be facing that again.
Yeah, they're really putting the pressure on to please don't run it here by getting rid of the Victor, by getting rid of the Vex. Vex, another please don't run it special. On the other side, the Rams elected to get rid of the Camille and the Tryndamere. Team Ishtar follows it up with a Braum as their first pick in the second rotation. I like that to be able to protect the Aphelios.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of protection. Aphelios Braum is one of those combos that can work incredibly well, and it just shows that Maybe checking the wing isn't as confident on the Thresh. Thresh is generally seen as the option, but of course, Braum gives you a little bit more utility into the Zyra specifically. But look at the answers here. This Veigar and this Set come out, so we will see Gwen in the jungle. The Set really going to provide an option to sort of disengage those fights with the showstopper, or potentially engage those fights as well by dropping someone nice and beefy on top of the Aphelios. The Veigar, though, that's the real pick that I'm watching out for, because we've seen rumblings of Veigar come up just a little bit across the world in terms of pro play. This champion just ends up getting so much extra damage, but oof, that is something we haven't seen in a long time.
This is very spicy. So, unfortunately for Team Ishtar, you can ban and pick away all of the strong mids that you like, but unfortunately one still prevails. It is Veigar. And that cage creating so much discourse in team fights can be a huge problem. Pair that along with the Zyra. You hit the cage, great. You miss the cage and somebody's trapped on the side, Stranglethorns, baby. That said, Team Ishtar looks to roll out the double red carpet here with the Corki and with the Rumble. These team fights are going to be explosive.
Yeah, they are going to be explosive. They're going to be painful. There's going to be a lot of damage going back and forth here. And in a lot of ways, the AD carries this game are probably going to have the worst time, or they're going to have an absolute ball here. There's no in between here, because basically if either one of these AD carries fall behind, it's just going to be one-shot territory for either side. Aphelios going to be standing on top of a million Zyra plants. This Veigar just pressing R on them. And the Caitlyn going to be trying to survive the Equalizer, the Corki package, Braum Fisher. There's so much zone control coming out from Team Ishtar here. WCU Rams have a lot of zone control as well. It's more so areas as opposed to lines, whereas for the side of Team Ishtar, you can sort of draw your battle lines with your Braum ultimate, your Corki package, your Rumble ultimate as well.
I do foresee one thing going wrong for the Rams. How is Gwen going to be able to get into these fights?
Yes, that's an interesting... it's a good observation, actually, as well, because it's going to be difficult for Gwen to be able to exist in these fights. Really, she's going to be trying to find a flank angle alongside the Set in a lot of ways, but one thing to keep in mind is that if Rumble's using his ultimate to try and catch someone out there, Gwen is immune. If Braum is trying to get that knock up and Braum is sitting out in the middle of nowhere, Gwen is immune. Corki really the only one who has that committal red carpet there to take advantage of Gwen. So I think the main way that Gwen gets into these fights is by waiting until a lot of those big zone control tools are out, and she's able to jump on people who don't have as much crowd control, that being the Corki, the Aphelios, even the Rumble in a lot of ways. I think that's how she really navigates these fights.
Another interesting thing is that for the Rams, this is a much harder composition for them to execute, as opposed to the one they had last time, Shen and Jarvan as their engage tools. Very easy to use, not to diminish the skill that it takes to use them, but they are a little bit easier to engage with. Compare that with the Zyra and the Veigar, and even the Set. Set's got to run at them, and Zyra, Veigar, these are more telegraphed and harder to hit skill shots.
I think Zyra is one of those champions that a really good Zyra can take over a game, but your average run-of-the-mill Zyra is potentially going to lose you the game in a lot of ways. We're going to have to see Holy do a great job of finding a lot of those roots, those Stranglethorns onto multiple members, really trying to disengage that fight away from Kalichi throughout this game, because it's such an important role to play, and we saw a great game on the Thresh, so I have no doubt that Holy is going to be on point with some of these skill shots here, but it's still incredibly important, because you misstep on the Zyra, you die. It's not like a Thresh where you have some inherent tankiness from picking up souls or your build path. You're going to be squishy. You're effectively a second mage who doesn't like to build any sort of tanky options there. If Zyra misses, she dies.
That is certainly a scare. However, how is she going to die? Take a look at the side of Team Ishtar. They're lacking a lot of CC, other than Braum.
Yes.
Like, how is Jin Zhao going to be able to convert kills for these solo laners?
I think the main way Xin does it is just through early pressure. I think Xin Zhao, this is a game where you do red buff right to mid lane, right to bot lane, right to mid lane again, right to top. You just perma-gank this game, because getting your leads here is going to pay off in spades as the game goes on. Realistically, your gank angle is going to be on that bottom side of the map there. You do have an option of ganking that top lane, as Rumble has the Electro Harpoons, which do a lot of damage. They also slow you a decent amount, and Rumble can dish out a decent amount of follow-up there. But I think the main thing that we're going to be looking at is Xin Zhao ganking this bot lane, in which case case, as we said, Holy needs to hit it or they will die.
Yeah, that is certainly a huge risk there, and Braum can, tank up a lot of this poke that you can have, and if Holy just the skill shots are not there and the positioning is off, you can die and you can put yourself behind in the bot lane. And we saw what happened last game when the bot lanes got behind. It was bad news bears for them.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate looking at what happens on the bottom side of the map. The Lulu, it's so easy to take advantage of, especially when you've got all that damage stacking up. But when you've got this Braum here, it's going to give you a lot more safety, not only for the Aphelios, but also for Chicken the Wing themselves. They're able to stay alive a lot longer. Braum is tankier than Lulu. Surprise, surprise. So it's...
What?
Yeah, what? Did you know that the small Fae princess is not very tanky? But all
She's
jokes
not as
aside,
tanky as a big bungus. Are you kidding me?
not as tanky as Kangas, but regardless.
Oh my god, Kangas incarnate. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I love
Kangas is gonna come in here and yell at us or something.
I hope so.
Challenge us to an arm wrestling match, and oh boy,
Oh,
it's
I
over
will
from
lose.
there.
But you know what? Hey, he can challenge me in Yu-Gi-Oh anytime. I've cleaned some wins off of him.
Okay.
I don't even play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay, let's go. That's Yanni's challenge there. Yu-Gi-Oh duel and then arm wrestling. Whoever wins harder wins, right? Is that how it works?
I mean, he's just gonna win harder overall. my arms are not that strong. I have to be quite honest with you. But that being said, for everybody, we are in the spectator delay, so do not go anywhere. We will be taking a short break, but when we come back, we will give you game 2 between the Westchester University Rams and Team Ishtar, as the Rams look to take the series 2-0, and Team Ishtar looks to keep themselves alive. Welcome back in, everybody. We are here for Game 2 between the Westchester University Rams and Team Ishtar. Team Ishtar, they are going to be on the red side, while the Rams will be on the blue side for this game, as they did take Game 1, and they are looking to end the series with a pretty swift 2-0. We will see if Team Ishtar has a response, as both teams going for the line of scrimmage setup.
Yep, setting up those 5 points once again, but of course, we'll have to see if it's going to be a better performance from Team Ishtar when all is said and done here. As you can see, Tygoon playing the Rumble here. That's sort of the X factor that I think we're really curious on. This champion was played in the jungle a little bit, like halfway through Season 11, then just didn't get to see play for the rest of the year. Hasn't been played since, and I think this is the first time we've really seen Rumble pop up once again. Curious to see how this one plays out.
All right, I got a bone to pick with these teams, right?
Yes.
Both of your mid laners, right? You want your mid laners to scale into the game, right?
Yes.
Both of them scale very well.
Yes.
Both of them have tier items.
Yes.
Why are you not fighting at level 1 to try to get your tier stacks? Especially if you are on the side of the Rams. Why are you not fighting at level 1 to try to get Vagar some extra AP? I have a legitimate issue with that. You're a Zyra, right? You have some poke to you. Why are you not trying to get some gold in your pocket early on? I don't understand. Like, you don't even need a full commit or anything like that. Just a little bit of poke is fine.
Yeah. Like, do what Tygoon's doing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Look at this. He might have just won lane off of that. Like, that is massive.
Really well played from Tygoon to pick that one up. Yeah, it does really make this lane a lot harder for Kingfisher, because Kingfisher going to be missing out on some of that farm, whereas I believe Tygoon was in XP range for all of those minions anyways. Of course, you've got to be careful when you're playing Rumble in general, though, because Rumble's a champion where you always have to be facing your opponent to do damage. Your Flame Spitter does nothing when it's going the opposite way, so it's a really big factor in that. But Vaperto doing exactly what we wanted them to do.
Yep, buff bot lane. Level 2 on the side of the Rams. We will see if Team Ishtar is able to make the play happen. Vaperto walking forward, chicken the wing and pull off just a little bit. The root does go down onto this Jin Zhao. They have landed the stun onto Holy. This will be all she wrote. It is first blood going over to Vaperto.
Yeah, Vaperto doing exactly what we wanted them to do. Went buff Gromp bot lane, able to be a big factor in picking up that kill, and of course, a lot of that due to the Braum. Holy did land the root, and of note here, Kalichi is
Ghost Gamer.
Just goated, absolutely massive.
Goated Ghost Gamer, baby. One quick note that I want to bring up is that it looked like Dissipate was making a move toward the opposing jungle, but Face to the Wind had walked away, put down a ward. Very strong warding out of your mid laner. If you are Vaperto, you are absolutely pleased with how this early game has gone so far.
Able to pick up a really early kill. Even in the mid lane right now, farm advantage going over to Face to the Wind. That's what to expect in this early game into the Vagar as well. So I think that it's just more so about Team Ishtar pushing forward these advantages and continuing to find more of these sort of plays. You need to always be proactive on this map, because we know what the Rams are capable of doing. If they're given an inch, they will take it, as the Canadians call it, a kilometer.
I hate you. I was expecting you to say, do you guys actually say that up there? Like, is that a phrase up there?
We don't say inch to a kilometer. No, we'll say it, like I feel like a lot of idioms are the same, but you know, considering I am a Tim Hortons enthusiast, I might as well just ham it up all the way.
No, I'm legit. Oh my, you mean ham it up all the way? I just a legitimate question here. I don't know how the idioms change, if they do or if they don't.
They do not change. I can guarantee you that. I just like to mess with my co-casters every single time I get the chance.
One thing that does not change so far is Kalichi having a CS lead over Frostbite. It looks like, although the first kill of the game had gone down onto Holy, they are not dissuaded from scrapping it up a little bit more. Meanwhile, the top lane, Kingfisher, finally starting to get the better of Tygoon after burning a teleport in. It's going to force Tygoon off of the wave.
Oh no.
But here we go, trying to make a move onto Kingfisher. Vaperto is here, but not going to be able to make anything happen, as don't have the CC as we talk about. Chicken the Wind taking a whole lot of damage, putting up the shield to try to, I guess, prevent the turret plating from going down, but now they're going to burn their flash, and they've got to get out of there. It's going to make it very hard for Frostbite to try to CS.
A little bit of a rough situation in that bottom side, but Chicken the Wing able to stay alive. I think a lot of that just because of Braum as a champion. That was a Lulu. That was a dead. Lulu there in the bot lane. That was another kill going over to Kalichi, but they've been able to overcome that sort of early game fiasco in the bottom side of the map here. You can see that Kalichi's still able to get a significant gold lead, put pressure on this tower. You can see almost 2 plates taken already there on that bottom side of the map, and this Gwen has just been farming. Dissipate, just farming. That's how you do it in this matchup. Kingfisher, oh my goodness.
Getting lower and lower. That said, I do like what Kalichi is doing. They have shown that it doesn't matter if they're the ones getting the kills in the bot lane. They will find ways to squeeze advantages out of CS, out of turret platings. Got to give them a whole lot of credit. They've played very well this series so far, and they are certainly going to be an AD carry to watch moving forward this season.
I think that they've got to be, just off of that one performance, they're going to be someone I'm keeping my eyes on for sure. I think as well, Holy can be someone to keep an eye on as well. The entire team of WCU just sort of put their name on the radar from that game one for themselves. But of course, Team Ishtar, they want to try and show that they've got something else as well for themselves. You can see picking up this early dragon. They found that play on the bottom side of the map. It's just, is this early game going to be enough? Because right now, it's still pretty subdued.
Yeah, there is a problem, though. While they went for the dragon, notice that Dissipate helped Please Don't Run It push out that mid lane wave so the Veigar could get a reset off without having to burning teleport. And it looks like Face to the Wind is not going to have that luxury because they went for the dragon.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting to see how the pathing has gone from these junglers as well. Like, Gwen has just refused to interact with anyone across the map thus far, but Vaperto has tried their best. Yeah, Gwen's immune to just anything at this point, including ganks. But of course, level 6, when that comes through, that's really where we want to see this Gwen start to turn it up to 11 here. Look for some sort of plays around the map. Look for skirmishes. Look for fights, because that is where the Gwen will be able to 1v1 that Xin Zhao.
Did Corgi go first item Tiamat?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty strange, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guess it's to try to get some more pushing power against the Veigar, but that's not typical.
Yeah, incredibly odd. I mean, normally first items you see are either the Warhammer, in this lane specifically, maybe even a Hexa Drinker, maybe the Lost Chapter if you really want to go sort of off the wall there. But Tiamat is interesting. Doesn't really give you that much more damage. It doesn't really, like, it only really helps you with your auto attacks in terms of pushing. Generally not really seen as the strongest upgrade, because I believe it still has the same amount of AD as a pickaxe itself. But oh my goodness, this bot.
This could be an issue. Chicken the wing, taking so much damage. The headshots are there. Piltover, Peacemaker, peace out, buddy. Head back to the base. The first kill of the game for Kalichi. Vaperto, flash for flash there. We'll force Please Don't Run It out of there.
Dissipate?
He is trying to actively not run it. Dissipate, as you said, trying to come from the side. Face the wind, flashing forward, but you are stuck in the baby cage. No assist going over to Dissipate, but he'll take a 1-for-1 in the mid lane, I'm sure, as Holy taking a whole lot of turret damage. That said, a third plate going down for this bot lane, and you've seen they were down in gold, but now have pulled ahead, and it's mostly off the back of Kalichi and Holy.
Yeah, it's 800 gold in the lead now for this Caitlyn. Oh boy, though. Gwen is immune?
Gwen is potentially immune, but Vaperto is coming through. Here comes that equalizer. Dissipate will fall. Doesn't have quite enough damage right now. He'll go over the Tygoon. Kingfisher coming from the side, trying to make something happen. Vaperto on top of Please Don't Run It, but there is no ultimate to be had. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, we see a lot of poke going back and forth. Vaperto trying desperately to get to the blast plant, but he gets knocked away, and there's going to be a kill going over to this Veigar. The second kill of the game. Landed that one with the Q. That's +7, baby.
Yes, and of course, as Veigar would say, if the tables were turned, I would show you no mercy. And that's exactly what happens. No mercy shown to that.
You need to stop. You need to stop. What's black and blue is about to learn the definition of pain.
Veigar. Hopefully.
No, you.
Veigar's green in the skin anyways. It doesn't work out. But
things going pretty well for the gang. Veigar now has a blue buff on top of him. That is, boy, baby, you are in a whole mess of trouble. If the Veigar's got the blue buff, things are not looking good for. Things might not be looking good for the bot lane here, as they've been ulted, they've been stunned. That's a great ultimate on a Holy, an amazing flash, chick in the wing, getting out of there Great stuff. Heads up play by Holy. And now Vagar on the backside looking to find a kill on the Voperto. But the first rank of the Dark Matter doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Shield going out, Chick in the Wind blocking that ace in the hole. Nothing more that either team can do. The Rams playing pretty aggressively, but weren't able to get any more. Well, comes an aggressive play out of Face to the Wind. Please don't run it, trying to put the moves on him. But there's a big shutdown going over to that Corki. And I guess the Tiamat helped.
Yeah, I guess so, but what's not really going to help is this bot lane tower still looking very unhealthy at this stage. Very skinny, no plates really left there. The last plate, of course, going to be falling off in the next couple of minutes as well. But it's been a really interesting game coming through. I think Team Ishtar are definitely playing a little bit more proactively than last game. But once again, this bot lane still a pretty weak point for them. Kalichi has just been running this bot lane over still, pushing in this wave. And this is what you do on Caitlyn. You try and use your range to your advantage and continuously push down that tower. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, they need to find a way to get Frostbite and Chick in the Wing out of this lane without giving up that last turret worth of plating or first turret. How can they do that, though?
I think the main thing to keep in mind to sort of prevent that from happening is have Aperto come down there more often. But at this point, it's a little bit too late. I think they've just got to try and lane swap, give up that tower, and move the Cephalius up to the top lane, and maybe look to try and punish this set a little bit more, because Tygoon's done a great job of keeping the set down in levels, down in experience, down in farm. Down to 20 CS right now is the set, so maybe you just swap your fellows up top side, but they're not going to do that. They just, they might threaten with the package here, though.
Yeah, Face to the Wind. Pretty strong right now. Is finish the Hydra first item. That is not something I've ever expected to say about a Corki. So it looks like they're trying to make a play onto Kingfisher, but it looks like the rest of the team is going to turn around and opt in for this Rift Herald. The first turret of the game falling, and you can see it was a slight lead for Team Ishtar, but after that turret went down, they are now down about 1,500 gold. Just all of that gold getting funneled into the Caitlyn does have the Gale Force, but this will allow Team Ishtar to make a play happen before these turret platings fall. They have the time.
Yeah, they've got a little bit more agency, but you can see this Vagar is so annoying to deal with overall. Of note, first item Ravenous Hydra. I've seen the build before. I've seen the Manamune into the Ravenous Hydra, into the Ludens. Everyone's seen that. Never seen the Ravenous Hydra picked up first item, though.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, and I guess it's to get the push onto Vagar, and I guess it's worked. It's nothing too crazy here. As Voperto and a whole lot of trouble. I think he tried to ward over the wall and will go down, and now the Rift Herald. I don't know if this Rift Herald is going to get any charges off. Oh, no. Disaster strikes for Team Ishtar. So much gold being left on the map after that one.
That's really bad. You want to try and make use of that as much as possible.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
See ya. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Finally getting the kill is Holy. The exhaust down onto that Zyra, but not going to fall because Braum does not have that much damage. So more kills going over to the Rams. You can kind of see the momentum is kind of shifting in their favor.
Yeah, they're able to push forward some more advantages as time goes on. Up on this top side is really the only weak point to remain, but even then, Kingfisher has been the benefactor of 2 assists across the map. This Gwen hasn't really done a whole lot in this game thus far, but you know, we expect the Gwen to scale a little bit better than the Xin Zhao as time goes on as well, but it's just Kingfisher trying to survive Tygoon for now. I think at this point, you've got to try and start snowballing this Rumble even further, because right now, Kingfisher is just able to exist in this top lane, just taking up space, and on the bottom side of the map, you've already lost your turret. This mid lane is starting to go south as well as Vagar continues to push forward more kills and pressure onto this Corki. And now that the Caitlyn's mid lane, what do? This, apparently.
Yeah, but you just engage on top of her. She is going to get rooted up. Is Voperto going to be able to continue the chase? No. He's going to use the ultimate to make sure that they are going to be invulnerable from any range damage. And Xin Zhao will be able to walk out. I think that was your best shot. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Kingfisher going for it will force the flash out of Tygoon as well. Lots of flashes burned everywhere, but no casualties just yet.
Yes, and if you look at the mid lane tower even at this point, this Caitlyn has been able to pick up a lot of damage onto that tower too, so the macro is just firing on all cylinders for Westchester Rams here. They're continuously able to find more and more with each successive push as
ace in the hole, bringing Aphelios dangerously low and forcing him off the turret, but no more damage to be had as Caitlyn. So strong right now. It's a 20 CS lead. It's just picked up an agility cloak, working on that collector second item.
Yes, and it's difficult because this Corki picked up a decent lane, I think, into this Veigar, all things considered, able to come out of that slightly ahead in terms of XP. Ends up going for a little bit of an odd build and is just going to be perma-pushing these waves now. And while that may bode well for your state across the map right now, it just feels like this Corki doesn't do as much damage as potentially they can. I think we'll have to see what the options are from Team Ishtar around this third dragon here, because they could put themselves on Soul Point, but I think if the set's able to come down, if this Gwen is able to be somewhat relevant in this fight, it can be really difficult for the side of Team Ishtar to really get as much damage as they want out of it. I think this Rumble, should start moving down right now, as they don't have the teleport, and it's another 20 seconds out from the objective.
Yeah, they're going to need to make something happen here. If you're Team Ishtar, you do want to put yourselves on Soul Point, especially with an Ocean Soul potentially on the table for them. You never want to give up an Ocean Soul, even though it does have one of the lower win rates of all of the souls, as I've learned very recently. But I just don't know if they have the damage, and I feel like a different Corki build would have gotten them there.
Yeah, oh my.
Oh, going for it. Here comes the root. And there is the ultimate Kalichi will fall. Holy from the other side, trying to make a play happen as Dissipate is in the middle of things. Will find Frostbite. Here comes Kingfisher. Slam jamming that onto nowhere. Dissipate will find the kill over the wall. Trying to make some plays. Not quite. It's a double kill for the Rumble. And now the chase is on. Boom, baby. See you later. There's a double kill for the Veigar. And you can just see all of the damage coming out from this tiny Yordle right now. 5-2-1. Bloody fighting everywhere, 3 for 3, and yet nobody can take the Drake.
Yeah, no one ends up being able to take it. I think if anyone, it would be the Corki to take it, but just not as confident as potentially they want to be around the objective to take that down. It will be both of these teams just returning onto the map at the same time with this. Corki has the package, so they might be able to just secure themselves this third dragon now that it is up and available. So overall, ends up being a really beneficial play with the ultimate coming down from Tygoon, and of course Tygoon able to pick up a couple of kills in that fight, but it's still incredibly close as it stands right now. The macro is still going well in favor of...
We're going to see another fight here.
Yes.
Tygoon is trying to make their way in, and here comes the teleport. Kingfisher coming in through the side. Dissipate going to try to go over to the wall. Tygoon on top of Kingfisher. Kingfisher trying to get in the thick of things on the backside of the fight. Kalichi is gone. Dissipate wasn't able to take the dragon, but now Veigar getting in there, trying to make plays happen. It's a double kill for the Corki as they continue to push forward. It is a 3-for-0. Did they? Yeah, it's just a 3-for-0. There's no good that came of that for the Rams.
And a lot of it is just because Kingfisher tried to engage, didn't have ult. Dissipate tried to go in, didn't have ult. Kalichi just got got packaged on by the Corki. You can't do anything about that at that point. It's so difficult to be able to tolerate there. So much damage coming out from that Corki right now, and despite the odd build choice, as now the Hex Drinker comes through as well, it's working out for the side of Team Ishtar. Yeah,
it is paying off in spades, and you know when Corki gets the Sorcerer's Shoes as well, he just becomes a different champion at that point. You can see his damage in the last fight that he didn't have the Sorcerer's Shoes compared to the damage in that fight on top of Kalichi. It's night and day, man. It's a completely different champion. It looks like the Team Ishtar is going to pick up a Rift Herald and hopefully have better success with this one than the last one.
Yes, I mean, Vaperto just will place it down under the tower this time, so it will get the charge with Kalichi. Ooh, will they be able to find this?
They did a great job of dodging the Rumble ultimate. Now Dissipate on the back end here, trying to survive. Kingfisher trying to get in the thick of things. He's going to pull in too. And slam jam on all three members. Big fist coming out here from the set, trying to make things happen. There's 3 kills going over, making a fourth, a triple kill for Veigar. And just like that, the Rams busting through with the horns on the head, getting 4 kills in that team fight.
Yeah, able to ram through them, as they would say. Big punch coming through from Kingfisher, though, to be able to find 3 members.
Punch. Get it?
Yes.
Because you said ram through and punt.
I'm trying to give analysis here. Yes, I throw in bad puns from time to time. I mean, just giving out my half Asian dad side in that one. But regardless, the main thing I wanted to point out, though, is while the side of Team Ishtar are able to find 2 towers in bot and top they're immediately responded here with Kalichi and Kingfisher able to push down those towers as well. So the fight ends up giving this advantage back over to the side of WCU Rams, as they're not scared by the looks of it. They are not scared to take a fight even when they are feeling a little bit down in the dumps here. I think the main thing you've got to keep an eye on, though, at this point is the fight in 2.5 minutes here. There's not going to be the flash available for Please Don't Run It at this very important soul fight, and I think that is the main thing we've got to keep our eye out now for. That's the next big fight.
All right, hear me out. I think that Team Ishtar should just stay away from Rift Herald. It has not worked out for them.
No.
Vagar.
It's been rough.
Interesting itemization out of Vagar going into the Rabadon's Death Cap. Typically going to other things at this point in time. It's usually not your second item anymore. I've seen Vagar's go incredibly tanky.
I think maybe just picking up this tanky item now, you can see going to be building the Fimbulwinter as the second option. So maybe just saying, I want to get all this damage out of the way as soon as possible. I have the gold for it. Granted, they're 8-2, so if they're going to build, like, they can build whatever they want at this point.
Yeah, at this point, maybe you just need to be the carry because Kalichi's having some problems this game. And you know, it's no fault of their own. It's mostly due to the team composition. It's not conducive to a Caitlyn.
Yeah, and even still, this Caitlyn's an item up. You can see, got the Collector, has the Zeal as well. Kalichi's done a good job of staying incredibly relevant in this game. If anything, the Aphelios is also underperforming in that sense, and that's what I said from the beginning. This game is not fun if you are the AD carry on either side, because you've got to deal with effectively 3 massive linear skill shots that can knock you up and just kill you instantly if you're this Caitlyn. On the flip side, if you're the Aphelios, Gwen is immune, Vagar just kills you, Set just kills you. It's hard to play the game as an AD carry player in this series.
It's hard to play the game as an AD carry player, man. Like, that's just what it is at this point. There's just so much damage in the game, and you can see it. I mean, Frostbite, they were a player to watch coming into this series, and they have been absolutely neutralized. It feels like they haven't been able to get off of the ground. You know, in the deep winter when you're trying to start that old car and it's not quite turning over, that just feels like the bot lane of the side of Team Ishtar so far.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. Holy getting caught out there. Big shutdown. This is a great start to a fight, but a triple knockup. Oh man, Kingfisher putting down the damage. The Rumble ultimate isn't enough. Ace in the hole. Tygoon will be able to get out, but Corky was unable to get into that fight even after burning the teleport. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Rams, and it looks like they're going to claim their first dragon of the game, and that is bad news for Team Ishtar.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because you look at how the fight started, and it looked really good with that Rumble ultimate. It looked like it was going to be able to just completely zone out everyone. It sort of reminded me of that Valorant like strat where you put a wall perpendicular but slightly ajar. It was really good to just prevent them from walking through, but it just didn't end up mattering because this Vagar is so fed, because this set is able to just throw members through anything at this point. And it's just continuously more advantages going to the side of WCU.
The team getting stronger and stronger are the Rams, as this Vagar is just putting in so much work. Give a hell of a lot of credit to Kingfisher in that last fight. That was an amazing set ultimate. Landed onto 3 members of the enemy team, stopped the entire show, did so much damage, and you know, combine that with the Vagar cage, it was just a recipe for a 1 fight.
It was well played overall, and I think that if they can continue to replicate those fights around Baron, around tier 2 towers, around these other objectives, they can continue to push forward their advantages. But, you know, we've had a little bit of a slower game this time around, it feels, as... Oh, well, Tygoon is stalk and prey again. As
Tygoon, that's not gonna go the way you want it to go. You need to stay away. Anathema's Change picked up by Vagar.
Wow. And gonna just take a look to see where those are placed. The chains are on no one.
Might.
Oh.
Oh. All right, then.
Yeah.
They're going to go on somebody at some point, I'm sure.
Yes. I'm sure they're going to go on somebody at some point, yes. But
I mean, I hope so.
they aren't on anyone yet, which is a little bit odd. But even looking at other itemization choices here, now we finally see the Lost Chapter picked up on the Corki. We see the Spirit Visage second item for the Xin Zhao, which I actually really like, considering you're playing for an Ocean Soul here. And of note, not a whole lot of Grievous Wounds built by anyone.
Yeah, that's pretty sketchy, because if you are the Rams, you are essentially saying, we are going to make sure that they do not... Oh my god, look at all that damage. But if you are the Rams, you're saying, hey, we're going to make sure that they do not get the Ocean Soul. And if Team Ishtar does get the Ocean Soul, you are in a whole lot of trouble because you don't have any of this heal cut.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Just comes out of nowhere with how much damage is put down onto the Rumble there. But yes, if you're not building any Grievous Wounds now, what's the point in even building them once they have Ocean Soul? Because they'll just be able to heal through them. So I think you've got to start considering them now so that you can try and prevent them from getting that soul to begin with, because this Corki's got a lot of healing. The Xin Zhao now has a lot of healing. Aphelios will end up having a lot of healing regardless, as... but yes,
felt the breeze on that one.
Yeah, felt the wind from the lightning there. But, 100 seconds away from this dragon, which is still super important. I don't know. I want to maybe see an Oblivion Orb picked up by the Zyra even, or maybe the Vega or Bramble Vest picked up. It's just something to sort of cut their effectiveness in this fight.
The tension is bubbling. This next team fight at the Dragon can mean so much. A team could potentially try to make a Baron play out of it or something like that, but I don't know. The gold lead is, only about 2.5k. It's pretty small at this point. It's not going to mean all too much. The Valkyrie out of Face to the Wind is Vhagar popping the Predator, trying to chase him down. He will get out of there. Anthemus Change was used.
Yes, onto Corki.
Okay, there you go. Good stuff. But less than a minute now for this Dragon, and let me tell you, it doesn't really look like any team is set up, but if you are the Rams, do you really need to set up here? It looks like you've got a fair amount of ward coverage.
And I want to point out something as well. Vhagar has 350 bonus AP.
Oh.
That is a lot.
That is a lot.
Like 800 AP at this stage of the game. So Vhagar just being able to build whatever they so desire now. It's going to be so difficult to take down as well. I believe that last item may be building towards a Force of Nature before potentially a Fimbulwinter as well. But this fight is going to be incredibly important. Rumble hitting a pretty big item spike there with the Rylai's now complete. So that item is cheaper. Doesn't give you as much damage as before, but still gives you a hell of a lot of utility. And this fight is just so important, and I'm incredibly scared for both of these teams.
Set making the teleport onto the Dragon, and here we go. The choke point secured by the side of the Rams. This chick in the wing is going to have to back out. It is taking a whole lot of damage and will be able to walk out, but yeah, that's it. Wow. That is it. The Dragon is going to go over to the Rams. They're going to take the second one, and that will allow the Rams 5 more minutes of scaling as well.
Oh!
Oof. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, but they have the package.
Yes.
They have the package and don't pull the trigger. Is Team Ishtar just scared?
Potentially. And I think a lot of that has to do with how strong this Vhagar is. But oh boy, here it comes!
Oh, there's the usage of the package. But look at how little damage is dealt, but how much is done to the Corki. Corki is going to have the Valkyrie out as Tygoon is committed to the fight. And will be stuck in the cage now as Dissipate and Holy are there. However, Tygoon will be able to flash out of there with their life. Things not going that well. It was a forced play there, and they get burned for it.
And another thing to factor in is that they won't have package for this now Soul Point Dragon for the side of WCU.
Oh, see you later, Alligator. Kalichi coming in with the Gale Force, finding the kill on a Frostbite. And yeah, the pings are going down. The vision hasn't quite been cleared yet, but they can do that now. Corki, again, not having a package. Back into the bases, Tygoon does have the teleport available, but the Baron has been
Oh!
started up. The teleport coming into the mid lane. Face the win, finding a kill onto the Zyra. That's huge, as now the numbers are even at 4 apiece. No AD carry for the side of Team Ishtar.
Man,
No
this is so
support for the
scary.
Rams.
Dissipate!
Baron getting lower and lower. Dissipate as well. There is the Rumble ultimate. It's going to force everybody out, and the Baron will begin to regen. Couple of members
Kalichi.
caught. Look at all the damage being done to Tygoon, but Kalichi taking a whole lot of damage. Face to the wind, doing what they can with the rockets, preventing the Baron.
Oh my goodness. Great job from Face to the Wind there, just to be able to take out the Zyra, and then another big one comes through, lands it onto both Dissipate and Kalichi there to just completely disengage that Baron attempt. And this is the thing about Corki, you know, despite the nerfs that came through for package, there's still a lot of power in those rockets when you're sitting on 3.5 items here. Didn't even go for the first strike, which we normally see out of this Corki. Went for the fleet footwork. You know, still just so much damage coming down, and the big ones are just going to chunk people out, especially when they're as squishy as a Zyra, as a Gwen with very low defensive capabilities right now. Granted, we're going to see the Banshee's Veil come out next, but it's a lot to worry about, and you can see why the chains are put on that Veigar, or on the Veigar from the Corki from the Veigar. There we go. That's what I was trying to say the first time.
He sold his tier.
Yeah, he just sold his tier. He does not care about that. It was more so for that early game, but doesn't want a tier item. Can just build Frozen Heart if they are really worried.
Yeah, I suppose. And, you know, really, that's one less squishy member that is going to be taking damage. Now, I wonder if a penetration item is going to be in the works, because Veigar, well, has been dealing a lot of damage. Remember that earlier fight against the Corki, where the Corki lived after a full combo. Corki should be dying at that point.
Yes. I think that maybe Void Staff's the last option here. Granted, if you get like, you know, 1300 AP. Oh,
this is not good. Kingfisher is in so much trouble. Tygoon has overheated though, so we'll have to back out the fight. Now it looks like the reinforcements are on the way. Voperdo coming up top. Frostbite having to burn the cleanse.
Wait. Kingfisher got out.
Yeah, he did. He just walked out of there. They just let him walk out. Yeah, I guess they were worried about, you know, the bottom lane coming up, but now here it is again. Holy and Kalichi on the way. Flash forward, going wide with the skill shots there, and here comes the teleport.
Oh boy.
Here comes an engagement onto the Caitlyn. The Rumble ultimate is there now on the back line, trying to make things happen. Kalichi will be able to get out, but Holy will fall on the backside. Kingfisher getting lower and lower. Veigar has joined the party, looking to blow up somebody. Face the Wind is going to find a kill onto the Gwen. Veigar picking one back as well. And now Please Don't Run It is being chased down by 3 members of the enemy team. He's been stunned up. Does he have the damage? The healing out of Voperdo is so strong. They shut down the Veigar, and just like that, Team Ishtar has found a way into the game. They are starting on the Baron, and I don't think Kalichi can stop this.
Yeah, Dissipate just exploded at the beginning of that fight, just off screen. We didn't get to see it at all, and Kalichi now in a 1v4. No way to get in.
There's absolutely no way to get in, and just like that, Team Ishtar has taken the goal lead back by about 600. 33 minutes into this game. Is this a certified BTL banger?
Yes, it is. And we talked about how slow and methodical this early game seemed to be, really just coming down to Please Don't Run It having a massive lead, and Caitlyn not really able to contribute as much. But I want to mention something, that Caitlyn, out of that mid-game funk, now building towards what looks to be that last item, Infinity Edge. This is...
Whoa!
The dragon... Oh!
They're going to take it. It's stolen away! It's stolen away by Dissipate! And now here comes the fight. Voperdo on top of Dissipate on the backside. Kalichi doing what they can to kite it out, but members of their team are falling. No, Please Don't Run It. Ran it. Here comes that Stranglethorns. It's good. Kalichi trying to make something happen, but that's the time to get out, Kalichi. Kalichi will be able to escape. It is a 2-for-1 in favor of Team Ishtar, but the real prize was taken away by Dissipate.
It's just a massive steal there from Dissipate. Just walks up and smites it. Straight up.
This game is still alive because of Dissipate.
Dissipate saves the game there. Is able to actually get on the board with their first kill of the game as well. But these rockets are ridiculous right now. This base defense is going to be really difficult.
It's going to be so hard. The honestly should just give up the inhibitor, wait for Kingfisher, and please don't run it to get back up. Please don't run it up in about 15 seconds. And it looks like the side of Team Ishtar is going to back off, unsure if they could have went for that inhibitor, and it could come back to bite them later. But I do want to talk about how Dissipate struggling all game long. It has definitely been a struggle. Only on 2 items, only with 1 kill on a carry-oriented champion, and yet made potentially the biggest play of all.
Yeah, able to steal away that dragon is absolutely massive, and we look at the opposite side here. Viperto's had good impact. They've had good impactful ultimates. They've had impactful ganks and everything. It's hard to find where Dissipate's been too impactful this game, but the biggest impact of all is just being clutch, and it's a factor you can't just measure in terms of stats or whatever, but that steal absolutely showing that they are clutches. Just looking at this game thus far, my goodness, we are getting into like hyper late game if we're talking about Season 12 standards here. Getting to 36 minutes into this one, still no Elders available. 3 minutes on that Ocean Soul, 3 minutes 15 seconds on that Baron. It's one of those objectives that is so hard to trade, and for the first time in a long time, it's not just a straight up easy answer. You can give up Ocean Soul if you can potentially find that Baron and just end the game, but at the same time, Ocean Soul is so important. And especially, you don't want to give over a 4-stack Ocean Soul to the side of WCU.
Now we have to quantify how important is each buff for each team. I think Team Ishtar might be able to take advantage of the Baron a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that looking at where the map is right now, the Baron could be a way for them to end the game before that Ocean Soul really becomes a real pain. Ocean Soul gives you a lot of value when there's poke coming through, when they try and chunk you out, because you're just able to heal through that and have enough. But facing an Ocean Soul here, a 4-stack Ocean Soul, is incredibly difficult regardless of the team comp it's on. And there is a lot of poke coming through from the side of Team Ishtar. Those rockets though are going to be completely nullified with that Ocean Soul, if that is the option.
The only heal cut is on the Braum.
Oh man,
that's it. This is
in this entire game.
Yes! This is the riskiest Ocean Soul ever. Both of these teams have just said, they've put all their cards on the table, and they've said, come hell or high water, we're going to live or die by the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, and it begs the question of,
somebody!
Like, what? Just what is going on? That's what the question is begging. I don't know what is going on with these builds at this point, but in the heat of the moment, sometimes it's like, I can't afford to get it. I need to get this item. And there is the Void Staffs coming through now. You can see it on the Zyra, on the Rumble. It's going to be coming through on that Veigar as well to have that one-shot potential. But you can see this is just Fnatic bushing around here, just trying to cheese out some sort of play, try and find a pick. And it's so hard to just face check any of these bushes now, because each death is oh so important, especially 45 seconds out from the final dragon of this game, at least the final non-Elder dragon. Oh no.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the teleport. On it. He's been spotted out, but he will dodge it. You can see Cordy's coming into the package. Almost caught Frostbite there. Flash and cleanse, burnt on the AD carry, and at this point in the game, the AD carries are quite important. Corky is looking to try to make a play with the package here. Doesn't matter if it's too early. Here comes the stone. They've caught Tygoon. It's a 5v4. Face to the wind, though. Being patient, but has now revealed themselves. This dragon up in 10 seconds. Baron in 25. This is the fight that you've all been waiting for. Everybody is here. Corky trying desperately to get the poke down. Please don't run it walking forward. They've caught the Braum.
Dissipate.
Down goes Tick in the wing. Dissipate on the back line. There's the Corky package. Whoa! Frostbite is going to live. Frostbite is going to die. Face to the wind. And Viperto, the last two. Corky found the Valkyrie. Corky goes down. There it is! It's a 4-for-1! The Rams! They're gonna take the dragon!
The Corky package, we were mentioning it was just too early to pick it up. You have to wait an extra 10, 15 seconds to continue that pressure. But Rumble goes down. No equalizer used. No effect used. Frostbite goes down. Moonlight Vigil still available. Chicken the Wing goes down, still has the Glacial Fissure. All of these ultimates are available. None of them were used. And instead of having to trade objectives, the side of the Rams are able to pick up both of them. A 4-stack Ocean Soul plus the Baron. And this game still might not be over.
Disaster strikes for Team Ishtar as the Rams play that fight to perfection. Tygoon getting caught, Chicken the Wing getting caught. And unfortunately, there was no way to try to get Tygoon close to that Baron. He had the ultimate up and ready to go. And it's just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for Team Ishtar. They had the package, were not able to use it effectively. They had the Rumble ultimate, not able to use it effectively. The Braum ultimate, boom, gone was the Braum, caught out. And it looks like this could be exactly what the doctor ordered for the Rams as the push is beginning here in the mid lane.
And I think the most cynical part of all of this is Aphelios bought an Executioner's Calling. Now, out of all the times, 40 minutes into the game, it's too little too late.
Too little too late indeed. The first turret will fall. Kalichi is just hanging around. Voperdo taking a whole lot of damage. They called the Braum again. He will get the shield up, taking a lot of damage. Veigar, no Primordial Burst. But yeah, the ultimate from Rumble went down. Rumble goes down, but the Rumble ultimate didn't do any damage. The heal cut is not enough at this point. Team Ishtar has made a critical error, and now the Rams are in the base. They've
Kalichi!
Oh my god, Kalichi, go get him! One more auto attack will do it. Down you go, Corky. And just like that, it's a 3v5. Can Voperdo, Frostbite, and Chicken the Wing do anything? The Baron minions are here. Frostbite is low. Gwen is immune. Down go the members of Team Ishtar. Frostbite, the last one standing. He will fall. There is the ace. And just like that, the Rams, they have broken the gates. They have broken the base. And they take a 2-0 series win.
Just a fantastic game coming through from the Rams. They're able to survive a couple of really rough fights and just somehow, some way are able to keep themselves in this game and come out with a massive victory. It was so well played from them, and walking away with a 2-0 in your first week in the BTL is one way to make a statement, and WCU is showing that they are here to play. They are here to stay.
Yeah, Kalichi and Holy, a surprise bot lane coming out today, just put in work all series long, struggled mightily in the second game. We can't mince words with that. However, Kalichi did a very good job of making sure they were never irrelevant. They built themselves an early lead. They continued to farm. They continued to scale. They understood their power spikes, and they also understood that Please Don't Run It, a.k.a. LeBron James, was there to put the team on his back.
Yeah, it was just a great game from the Veigar, able to build this incredibly tanky build, but also be incredibly powerful with all of the AP they were able to stack up. The longer this game went on, the more difficult, the more it was just on a knife's edge for the last maybe 15, 20 minutes of that game. And you just have to look at some of these builds and say, maybe we should have bought Grievous Wounds that game. And in the end, regardless of builds, regardless of anything, just an absolutely fantastic game from the side of WCU to come back in a lot of ways. They were just stuck in their 1K gold lead, and they were able to break through and take a victory.
And if you missed this game, I feel sorry for you because, man, that was some intense League of Legends gameplay. That being said, we got some more games going on a little bit later. We got a crew coming up at 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, we've got a little bit
time zone
of a wait.
9 o'clock tonight. Yes. I'm sorry.
9 o'clock.
No, time zone. My time zone is Eastern time. I just forgot.
Oh.
I just got my time mixed up. I said 8 instead of 9. We will be able to see Team DPS versus Spectre Gaming at 9 p.m. on this same channel.
Yeah, but for the time being, we're just going to take a little bit of a break, and we will be back when that comes through.
Yeah, we will see you soon. Please feel free to hang out, chill out, talk about this game. Tell your friends that you can find the bangers here at Black Twitch League.